Now that the asbestos is removed from the sheet metal, from this duct here, I have to fit this into that opening. And I had to trim back some of the metal on the sides here so that this will fit in that space, and the opening vertically is big enough, so we're okay there. But what I have to do now is a little sheet metal fabricating to make a, I don't know, frame, a collar, a adapter, whatever we want to call this thing, so that that will be attached around this opening so that it fits the vents, the back side of this register here, and we'll make that and attach that, and that'll extend through the drywall when the drywall goes up, and then this register will just go into that opening, screw into place, and everything will be all set to go on this side of the vent. Let's go down and start looking at what we have to do to manufacture this thing. Just to confirm the measurements, this is a vent that's designed to go into a 6 by 10 vent opening, and I'll just measure it, and yes, that seems to be the case. 10 inches that way, and yeah, we don't need all 6 inches there. 6 inches is plenty there, so I think we'll make it, what, our opening is going to be 6 by about 10 1/8, 10 1/4 probably be fine. So our ductwork adapter or frame or collar, however we want to refer to this thing, has got to accommodate this dimension here. So we're going to accomplish this task using this device, and this device is a box brake, metal brake, bending brake, however we want to refer to it, and we'll just move our camera back a little bit so we can get a little bigger view of the device. This one is a 30-inch brake. Where they came up with that word for this thing, I don't know. Maybe they broke a lot of things in the process of coming up with this tool here. And let's just say you do get what you pay for. I only paid about $70 for this thing, but they didn't tell you that those clamps weren't included in the price, so I ended up having to go back and buy clamps, and that's they're here for holding down this piece of metal, and that's what clamps the metal into the brake. And then once you've got everything positioned, then you use these handles to raise this and bend the sheet metal. So I did the measuring, and what I have to do is I have to take a piece of sheet metal and cut it into strips for the sides, and I need to come up from that that ductwork 1 1/8 to come through the drywall, and I need 1 inch on to surface to mount to the ductwork, which I'll probably drill holes and use pop rivets. So I need to cut this sheet into strips of 2 1/8 times 2, and then on the and then they'll then be cut down to 10 inches, and then I need to measure 3 1/8 pieces, which will be 12 inches by 3 1/8, and each one of those will have a 1 inch exposure for the sheet metal, and we'll get everything bent up, and then once everything is ready, then I'll go about doing the assembly. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and measure and cut these pieces. Now with sheet metal, you're doing metal work, you don't use a pencil or a marker, you use an awl, something to scratch the surface and generate a line across, and then we'll use the tin snips here and cut along that line and get the strips made up, and then we can start bending, doing the major bend, which will be the length of the strip, and then well, we'll get to that once we get that done. So let me go ahead and set up a little measurement here, and then I can draw my line and do a cut. So let me figure out where I need to set this up so I can work with it easier, and then I'll get right back. Alright, so now we've got to measure 2 1/8 from the edge here, and you can see I'm using slightly different measuring tools here. This is more for working with metal than anything else, I suppose, but of course you can use it for all sorts of things, with this right angle, 45 angle attachment here. So let me go ahead and get this marked at 2 1/8. And again, you're seeing I'm using the awl to scratch it, and often referred to the device as a scratch awl. There, I suppose, are different types of awls, but this one is being used in case of scratching this this metal to produce a line. Alright, so now, probably impossible to see on camera. It's got different reflectivity, so you can see it basically where the light is. And measure twice, cut once. So is a good motto. So we got a line at 2 1/8. Now, take our little sheet metal shears and get right on that mark and start cutting away. Now, if you were doing a lot of fabricating, you'd probably invest in some kind of, mechanical device specifically for doing this, which would speed the process up considerably. But I just got a little bit of work to do here, so we'll just settle with marking it and cutting it with the shears. Now these are shears, these are designed to didn't remember if I'd hit play or record or not. Thought maybe I was talking to myself there for a little while. And apparently we're okay, but these shears are, like I said, designed to cut straight lines, whereas the other little snippers that I've got are more intended for cutting curves. You can do straight lines with a little bit of effort, but these do these have better control over cutting straight lines through this type of material than the other ones. And they have both left and right handed ones depending on which direction you need to be cutting your curves. I just have the one, which is more of a right-handed one, and I just deal with it if I have to do something that's in kind of the opposite direction. Alrighty. Yeah, that came out nice and clean. So, that's the first cut. Now I'll make another cut just like that. And then cut this down because these will be the sides. So we just need to have enough material here to make the sides of this thing. Then when I get to 3 1/8 inch pieces, those will be for the top, and they'll be full length, 12 inches across. This is a 12 by 24 inch sheet of 22 gauge, I think, is what I ended up picking off the 26 gauge sheet metal. So I'm picking up off the shelf. So, okay, another one like this. And then I'll cut the other two at 3 1/8 and come back and show you the next step. I've got all the pieces cut to width now, and these narrower pieces are going to be the side of this frame, and they don't need to be 12 inches. They probably don't even need to be 10 inches, but I've decided that that's what I'm going to cut these to for either side. And then when we get to bending, there's going to be a 1-inch exposure which goes against the existing ductwork, with a 1 1/8 extending up from that will, you know, define this frame and be ready when we go to do the drywall. It'll protrude through the drywall and provide us a nice clean installation. At least that's the plan. So, alright, let's go ahead. I'm going to mark 2 inches and cut that off of these. So let's go ahead and scratch. Scratch. Let's make our line with the scratches. All right. Go ahead and cut this 2 inches off of here. A little bit of waste, but hopefully I won't mess up when I go to bending it and create more waste. But it's always a possibility, I guess. And it always tends to leave a little curl on the end, so I just got this little hammer. Just straighten that out real quick. And let's go ahead and do the same to this one. So we'll mark 2 inches. Just so it lays a little flatter. Now, we need to mark, don't need to hold on to both of these at the same time. Set out of the way. Need to mark 1 1/8 inches. So there's room here. Need to mark the 1 1/8 inches. Which then should also produce 1 inch, and this piece is a hair wider, but that's okay. So let's mark the 1 1/8 inches. 1/8, and almost got, yeah, that's right. Alright. Actually, the piece is a little bit narrower, so, but alright, that's good. We need the 1/8 up more than we need the exact 1 inch on the flat part, because that's what's going to get mounted to the existing ductwork. So let's go ahead and get a line at 1/8, and this is where the bend will end up. And if this was an expensive job, maybe it would be a Mercedes bend. Alright, so much for that joke. Let's see, yeah, that looks good. Now, alright, so this wider piece, which again you probably can't really see the mark anyway, is going to be bent up, and this piece is going to be bent flat. Now what we want is 6 inches on the bent up side. We've got 10, so that means if we go 2 inches in, little wonky there. Go 2 inches in, and we go 2 inches in, and let's go ahead and mark another 2-inch mark. Alright, that'll give us the 6 inches between those marks that we need for this space here. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to cut along this line here, because then these pieces here will fold up. Well, first what we'll do is we'll bend along this line so that we'll get that, and then these pieces will fold in, and that'll help in the connection to the pieces that go along here. A little hard to visualize, I know, but once we get to that point, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and start getting this one ready to go. Get over to the box brake and see if we can't get this puppy bent up. Well, actually, before we do that, we will make this cut here. It'll be hard to cut once it's bent, so I'll go ahead and get that done. off kilter there, but close enough tolerances, I guess. Let's see when we go to assemble this. Alright, so those bends are made, or cuts. So we'll get that and we'll bend it along this axis here, and that'll be the next step. I've got the piece in the brake now, tightened down the bar, and I am ready to try bending this. So here goes. Loosen these clamps up now. Let's see what we got. And it looks like we've got a piece of metal. And alright. Now we need to bend these parts in, and with that, to do that, little hand seamer here, and we'll set that on the line. Get a bend on it. Do this other side. For some reason those things aren't even. What's that all about? Okay. Get that over here. And let's get a little bend on it. Alright, that's how I want that piece to look. Our little piece here, the idea being that, you know, this goes around that, and in fact this will be the other side, or I guess could be that side. But, yeah, I made that crooked. I'm going to have to straighten that out, aren't I? Alright, well, that's the piece here that will be the side. We'll make up the other one and then go on to the other parts. And I got a flashing battery light again, so let's continue on. Actually, I bent it the wrong way the first time. This is the way it's supposed to be bent, so that it fits over the end, and then the 1-inch part will end up, and in fact it's would be installed this way. Once it's all put together. So, alright, now I got that bent right for the most part. A little cockeyed on that bend for some reason. I don't know what I'm having so much trouble with it, but we'll get it straightened out.